Hello, I am Chrissy. Good morning, how are you? Let's see. So today the whole purpose of my video is really gonna go over what exactly you need in a home first aid kit, why you need it, and what's the purpose of a first aid kit. So I think when I look at Pinterest, like if you go on Pinterest and you search like home first aid kit, the things that are going to pop up are awesome resources. But what I've noticed is that a lot of them differ significantly from some of the things that, I believe about first aid. So the first big thing that I feel like I'm a little bit different about is that I think your first aid kit should literally only contain things that you absolutely will or might need in an emergency situation. So, a lot of them contain things like suntan lotion or bug spray or chapstick, and all of those things are great. But if you're at home and your kid cuts their finger with a knife, or you're outside in your backyard and your kid falls off the swings, or any number of those things, you don't need bug spray or sunscreen. You have both of those somewhere else in your house. So when we think about building a first aid kit specifically for your house, we need to take a couple of things into consideration. If you called me up today and said, hey, Chrissy, can you come, provide health or medical coverage for my kid's football game? I would say, sure, no problem. And I would bring with me this, and I would also bring this. This is a big medical bag, and it is so not practical for the everyday person at their house. This, what I'm going to show you today, is totally practical. That big black bag that I just showed you, that's what I consider my, oh crap, this is a really serious situation when it comes to my own kids. My girls could not carry that bag if I needed them to. They could, however, carry this box. And here's what I really liked about this box at Aldi. Hey, good morning, Stacy. This box I really like for a couple of reasons. The first reason is extremely portable. The second is it's extremely durable. Life with kids is always hectic, and they're always going to, destroy things even if you don't want them to. That's why I really like having all of my first aid items in a box like this. The other thing that I really like about this box compared to other boxes that I see people use for first aid, when you open it up, and this is of course awkward on camera, when you open it, everything is accessible to you. So you're not gonna have to go through and unzip 15 different pouches or open 5 different Tupperware containers. In a situation where your kid needs help, like if they're bleeding or whatever is going on, you don't want to have to waste time opening individual containers. That takes time away from you and your ability to help your kid. So when you're picking out a new box for your first aid kit, I'm ashamed to say, you don't have one yet, you'll have to make one. So when you pick out your box, what's really important is to make sure you can open it quickly and you can easily get to everything that's inside. So I don't want you to waste time having to open like Ziploc bags or open, like if each of these containers had a lid. While it helps keep things organized, it really hinders your response time to your kid. The other thing that I really liked about this box is that these little sections are all removable. So if I needed to make more space for larger things, I can easily take them out and kind of move them around, and it's really modular in that way. On that note, I really do love these containers. When my other big box is like a tackle box, like a fishing tackle box, and a lot of those have very small compartments. So you can't really fit things well in them. It's made for like fishing lures or hooks or things like that, and it's not made for Band-Aids and ace wraps and all of that kind of stuff. So I really do like this box for that reason. But in the past, when I worked for, secondary schools, I would make my teams travel kits or travel first aid kits out of cheap toolboxes from like Home Depot or Lowe's. Very similar to this. They open up, you lift up the tray, and everything is accessible to you. So those are also a really good option, and they're usually not very expensive. Like I said, when you're picking out your box, the biggest thing that you want to be able to do is to open it quickly and easily be able to access all of the contents. So that's really important. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is why I like a box, an actual physical box for my first aid supplies. The reason for that is I like it to be portable. So if we're like upstairs or outside and my kid gets hurt, I don't want to have to run to my medicine cabinet or to some random place where I have Band-Aids and another random place where I have an ACE wrap or another random place where I have athletic tape. I want it all to be together in one spot, and I want to be able to grab it and go and know that I'm not missing anything. Whereas if I keep it, you know, in like a hanging organizer on the back of a door or in a medicine cabinet, I'm gonna have to guess about what I might actually need in that situation and hope that I remember to bring it all with me when I run back to my kid. Whereas with this, I know that it has everything that I could possibly need to help my kid really quickly. So that's why I really, really, really like the idea of having everything in a contained kit, or toolbox, whatever you want to call it. So now I guess it comes to, what do you need in it, right? And before I jump in, I've got all of my like bins of stuff here that I'm going to show you. Before I jump into that, I really want to make it clear that building a first aid kit does not have to be expensive. There are some items that will cost more, and I'll kind of explain that as I'm going through them. But there is no reason that you couldn't go to the dollar store and pick up half of this stuff for like $10 versus going to Target or Walmart and spending triple that or more. A box of Band-Aids at Target, I think when I looked yesterday, was almost like $5 or $6. I can go to the dollar store and get the same Band-Aids that are going to do the same thing and put them in my kit. So don't feel like you need to go out and spend an epic, good morning April, spend an epic crap ton of money building your first aid kit. That's just not the case. So like I said, when I worked in the secondary school system, I would exclusively go to the dollar store to build their kits because Neosporin is the same in a $1 tube as it is in an $8 tube. So do not spend a whole bunch of money building this out. Like I said, I'm going to show you the things that you will want to splurge on, but everything else, save your pennies. Save them. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted? It's going to come back to me. I feel like there was something important I was going to say. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. Like I said, I'm going to explain exactly what everything is and why I want you to have it. Oh, I know what I was going to say. In a first aid kit, I don't keep a lot of overstock items. I keep exactly what I'm going to need to respond in a particular instance, and then I restock after I use something. So I keep like a box in my basement of just extra stuff that when I need to replenish this kit, I will. That's why it's able to stay fairly small and compact versus, you know, the really big med kit that I showed you first thing when I hopped on. Here, I think I've got some extra people on. Let me show you. Oh no. This. You don't want to have to carry that around your house, but you do want to be able to have everything that you need quickly, which is why I really like the toolbox. So here we go. We're going to start with a bottom tray. So we're going to do the bottom first. As you can see, I've already messed around with it. I've taken out some of the compartments. All right. First thing that I want you to have in your first aid kit is contact solution. And not because I think that your kids wear contacts. This is saline. This is all it is. The best thing about it is that when you squeeze this, it comes out fast enough and with enough intensity that it's really great at cleaning out wounds. So if you're outside and your kid gets like gravel in a scraped knee or something, having this readily accessible just by squirting it over the knee is going to help to clean out that wound really quickly. And it's just contact solution. So this is a great thing. Always have this in your first aid kit. Let's see. This is a disposable diaper. And I don't put this in my first aid kit because I think my kid's gonna need an emergency diaper change. I put this in my kit because these are built to collect fluid and they're cheap, okay? So I can open this up if we have a really bad bloody wound, open this up, either double it over and put it on the bloody knee and like wrap it around whatever is bleeding. These are built to absorb liquid. It's the same thing with maxi pads. And they are much, 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 much cheaper than buying big trauma pads at like CVS or Rite Aid. So disposable diapers or maxi pads, whichever, they work great for blood or other fluids. Blood isn't the only thing that sometimes happens with our kids, right? Vomit, things like that. These, even pee like in the car or on a rug, a disposable diaper, if you lay it down and like push over it, it'll soak up the liquid back through like your furniture, your rugs, or even your car. I love these. These have they have so many different uses. All right, so I'm gonna roll this guy up and I'm gonna set him over here by the contact solution. The other thing that is really important when you're packing your first aid kit is to take some time and organize it well. You want to know where things are before an emergency happens. So that's why I'm kind of taking my time and really putting things in a way that I can easily see everything and access it all. All right, oh yeah, this guy. This is a SAM splint. These are about 10 bucks on Amazon. You need one of these. They're really big, right? But they're super moldable. So you see I can like play with this and make it into any shape. And once I put it in that shape, it stays put. So like say Mackenzie falls off the swings. Well, granted, we're not going outside today because it's a muddy mess. But if she falls off the swings, I can bend this to fit the size of her arm. And then I can make like a little gutter out of it. See this? And then I can lay her arm right in it, put an ACE wrap over it, and we're going to urgent care. And I don't have to worry about her like, you know, bumping it on the car seat or something like that because it's protected inside of a splint like this. This is a SAM splint, and don't worry, I'm gonna have a blog post with all of these links coming up really soon for you guys. Actually, it should be publishing on its own here in about, like, I think I set it to go live at 10:30. But SAM splints are amazing. They work for adults or for kids. And when you buy one for your kit, I do recommend getting the full-size one. They do make like a SAM Splint Junior. Just get the big one because you never know when you or your husband might need it. All right, so next up, this is a blood stopper pressure dressing. This is a commercially made one. In the near future, I'm going to do a post that explains how you can make one of these on your own for a heck of a lot cheaper. I think one of these is like $7. They're expensive. I like them because if my diaper isn't doing the trick, I can put one of these on. It'll put pressure on the wound. I can dress it up, put an ACE wrap over it, and we can go to the hospital. If I am using one of these on one of my children, it is an emergency and we are going to the hospital. But I do like to have it in my first aid kit. You can kind of see there what it looks like. I do like to have one of these in my first aid kit for that reason. I need to be able to handle blood quickly. And that is an easy way to do it. All right, what's next? These are Quick Clots. This is another, these aren't like a huge splurge item. They're not super expensive, but these are also great. So if your kid gets a cut in a really weird spot and you're not sure how to treat it, or they get a bloody nose that just won't stop despite doing everything that you know how to do, and I've got a blog post on that if you want to read it. These are a great solution. They contain like an agent that helps the blood clot faster, so it stops the bleeding. I would not use these on large like puncture wounds or things like that, but little scrapes, like especially on the head, things like that where it's just really hard to control the bleeding. These are great for that. And it's just little pieces of gauze that's got like a homeostatic solution on it. A hemostatic solution on it to stop bleeding. So I'm gonna set these in with my pressure dressing here. All right. Assorted large Band-Aids. These are all from the dollar store. Like I said earlier, do not waste a bunch of money on Band-Aids. Band-Aids are Band-Aids, right? A bunch of large Band-Aids, and I'm just gonna set it in here. There's a bunch of different sizes. Like I've got like these big square ones. I've got little square ones. I've got ones for your eye. So just a bunch of random large Band-Aids. Set those right in there. Okay. Gauze. I like having non-sterile gauze and sterile gauze. Before I would get to the point of using a diaper, I would try to contain blood with gauze first. So I would spray my contact solution on there, kind of get the yuckies out of the wound. I would pat it dry with my non-sterile gauze, and then I would try to dress it with my sterile gauze. So just a couple of these. These are not the big ones. These are just 4x4s. And I think I only have like 4 of these in my kit. You don't need a whole lot. All right. Tape. This is pink tape because I like pink. This is Coband. And Coband, you can actually, a lot of veterinarians use it, so you can actually get it pretty cheap through them or on Amazon. Sometimes Dollar Store even has it. The best thing about this is that it's not sticky. It sticks to itself, not your kid. So if they, like I said earlier, if they split their head and you're not sure how to bandage it, this is great. Just give them a nice Coband headband. It also will apply pressure to a wound for you, so you don't have to worry about it. You can also use this to hold on splints. I'm gonna go over popsicle splints here in a minute. So this is great. It's a multi-purpose tape. You can cut it down and make it smaller. You can make it bigger. I definitely recommend having a roll of this in your first aid kit. Now this tape is a little different. This is like a thick cloth tape. And I like having it as well, just in case I need to really tape something on so it doesn't move. I would not put this directly on my kid's skin, but say they fall off the swing set and their leg looks not good. I would use my SAM splint and then tape it on, or use an ACE wrap to kind of keep it still. But this is just a regular roll of tape. Trauma shears. You need a pair of trauma shears. These cut everything. So in my swing set example, or outside example, if I want to be able to cut my kid's pants off so I can see what's going on, I'm going to cut them off with trauma shears. You can do a lot of things with these. They are very powerful scissors. I absolutely recommend having them in your first aid kit for situations where you need to cut your kid out of their clothing or out of even a car seat in an emergency situation. Trauma shears. Get yourself a pair. All right. This is an instant ice pack. I only have one of these in my kit because I don't use them a lot, but they are nice in situations where you need ice and you need ice immediately. Head injuries, or, you know, sometimes even with bleeding, putting ice on it can help slow the bleeding down. Things like that. It's really great to have a quick access to ice until you're able to get back inside safely and get your kid, you know, a bag of frozen peas or whatever you've got. So I'm going to fold this guy up and put him down here too. And then last but not least, this is a big abdominal pad. You can see that the size of this guy is really not that much different than the diaper. But I like to keep one of these just in case I need it. If you don't want to spend money on them, this is an item that I would say you can skip and just use, put some extra maxi pads or a diaper in your kit instead. All right, so that's it for the bottom. Now let's go to the top, and then I'll show you what it looks like all packed up. ACE wrap, gotta have it, it's essential. The small size is totally fine. I do have some of like the bigger 6-inch long ACE wraps, but in most instances, a little small guy like this is gonna work for what you need it for. Gloves. I'm totally cool with touching my kid's blood. Tourniquet, April, which one are you talking about? For the ACE wrap? There's such a delay on these, I can never tell what a comment is. Tell me what you're talking about with a tourniquet, and I can answer. Gloves. Do I have one in my kit? Good question. I don't. And, well, I do. In my big trauma kit, I do have a tourniquet, but it's not something that I recommend for everybody to have unless you know exactly how to use it. There are a lot of home items that you can use instead, and I'm going to go over that here in a second. But it's extremely rare that you'll need one. So I don't have like a true tourniquet that I keep in just my everyday first aid kit. I do have one in my massive trauma kit here at the house. And then I do keep one in my car as well, because car accidents are pretty bad. They can be really bad. Back to gloves. I just have 2 pairs of gloves in here. I am totally okay with touching my kid's blood. But if a friend is here and they get hurt, I'm not touching the friend's blood. And it's not so much just because I think my kids' friends are gross or they have some kind of nasty disease. Those kids don't necessarily know what germs we might have at our house. And it sounds really bad to say it that way, but when I was an athletic trainer in the school system, I would put on gloves. My kids would be like, I'm fine. You don't need to wear gloves. I don't have AIDS. They're like, oh, cool. Well, you don't know what I have. And that would usually get them to go, oh, man. So just a couple pairs. This is only 2 pairs of gloves because you never know when you might need them. Shove those right in there. All right, we'll go. This is a triangle cravat bandage. These are great for a lot of different things. I can use them as a tourniquet like April just mentioned. I can use them to make a sling. I can use them to hold on a splint. They are just a very, very, very good multi-purpose piece of equipment. I say that like it's this big serious thing. If I were to open this up, it's like almost like a piece of muslin, and it comes in the shape of a triangle. So it's really easy to make a splint, to make a sling, and even to tie on for to hold a splint in place until you can get more assistance. Stick that guy in here. So I showed you the big version of a SAM splint. This is a tiny version. This is good for fingers or small hands if you have a kid, like a baby, who like slams their hand in the door or something and it looks really bad. These are great for that. It's the same material as what was in the big SAM splint. It's just little. Very convenient. All right. This is an ice bag. I keep one in my kit for 2 reasons. The first is to hold waste. So if I've got like a pile of bloody gauze nearby, I want somewhere to put it so that, you know, my toddler's not going to come up and start playing with bloody gauze while I'm helping our sister. So this is a great thing to have in your kit, just a plastic bag as a trash bag, also as a vomit bag. I'm a huge believer in emesis bags, but I don't put them in my first aid kit. I just keep a regular old bag in case somebody needs to puke or I need to start disposing of bloody waste. Shove that guy in here. Pre-wrap. This is that thing you see a lot of like girls wearing in their hair. By itself, it's not meant to like hold things on by any means, but it is stretchy and it provides light compression. So if you need to hold that diaper on to like a head injury or something like that, you can use pre-wrap or you can use the Co-Band and it'll stay put. It's great for that, and it's cheap. Set that in there. Popsicle sticks. Regular old popsicle sticks. I like to have these for finger injuries. They're really great for splints for fingers. They also work well if you need to end up taping like 2 together for like a wrist injury. But I always have a couple of popsicle sticks in my kit for that reason. All right. These are betadine swabs. I like this better than keeping a big bottle of betadine in my kit For one, for space, these are much more compact, but also because it's easier for me to use quickly. I can rip one of these open, smear it all over, and be done. Whereas with the big bottle, I have to open it, I have to put some on a piece of gauze, I have to wipe the area. With this, it's kind of one and done. You're not gonna see like alcohol prep pads or hydrogen peroxide or anything like that in my kit. I exclusively use betadine to clean out wounds. So I would use my contact solution that we talked about earlier, spray it on the wound, dry it up with a piece of the non-sterile gauze, and then use this to clean it. Let me set those right in here. All right, what is next? Steri strips and butterfly bandages. If your kid slices their finger with a knife or a pair of scissors, or slices themselves on anything really, and you think it might need stitches, this is what you can use to kind of hold everything together until you get to the hospital. And I'll do some more videos later showing you exactly how to use these, because it's not hard to use these, but there is a little bit of a learning curve, and I wanna make sure you all know how to do it right. So Steri strips or butterfly bandages, they both work the same, and I keep them both in my kit. Something that you may not have seen though are these. This is called benzoin tincture. I'll open this up, I'll squeeze this, and it comes out this little dabby thing on the top. This makes the skin really super sticky. So if I am doing Steri strips on my kid and I wanna make sure that they stay, I'm putting this around the wound to help give the Steri strip something to stick to. Just a little trick there. These aren't very expensive. They're not super expensive, but you will have to order them like on Amazon. Let's see, we're winding down. Last couple things. All right, these are single-use triple antibiotics ointments and bacitracin ointments. I do not use these a lot, I'll be completely honest. In a first aid situation, I normally am not putting this on a wound. I'm gonna clean it out really well. I'm gonna use the betadine, and then I'm gonna dress it. So I'll put like a Band-Aid on it, or I'll wrap it up, whatever needs to happen. The reason that I don't use these a lot is because it's actually how we grow like super germs and super bugs. So I would rather wait until a cut or a wound starts showing signs of infection before I start to use this, rather than just using it universally on everything. What I do use universally on everything a lot is Vaseline. This is Vaseline in a tube. It's called Skin Lube, but regular old Vaseline works too. I will put this on most of my cuts as a first line to kind of help. Well, for one, it's great because it doesn't let, like if you cut yourself shaving, put Vaseline on it, because it's going to stop the blood from dripping and let the blood clot on its own. But I use this on head injuries. I use it a lot on scrapes and stuff like that, just to kind of give a barrier between the open skin and then the dressing itself. So Vaseline. But back to these, I will use these in a first aid situation if my kid got themselves cut on something particularly gnarly. So think like a rusty fence, or something that's just a little gross and you're really not sure, is that clean? Scraping a knee in the driveway or things like that, I'm not going to use these on. But things that I know are really gross, like I said, a rusty fence, I'm going to use these. And I like these single serves because it's more compact than just having big tubes. But going to the dollar store and getting a big tube of it is just as cost effective. All right, last couple things and then we're done. Tampons. Not for, you as a mom or for anybody else, but these are great for wounds. Tampons are built to absorb blood, just like diapers. So if your kid ends up with like a puncture wound or anything like that, sticking a tampon in it is a great way to stop the bleeding quickly until you can get to the hospital. I love having tampons in my first aid kit for that reason. They're also really great if it's a really big wound and maybe you don't have a pressure dressing. You can use a tampon, lay that right in the wound, and then cover it with more gauze and an ACE wrap. Good to go until you can get further help. So tampons are great. And then regular old Band-Aids. I've got some like normal size. I've got some itty bitty, you know, like baby finger size, but just assorted Band-Aids. You don't need a whole lot. Like I said, this kit is really meant to have to grab and go. So you're not going to keep like 10 boxes of Band-Aids in here. It's just not practical. And then last but not least, I have nail clippers and tweezers, and that's it. So nail clippers are great. You never know when you're going to need them in a first aid situation. Maybe there's something in a wound, same with tweezers, that you need to get out, or maybe there's something small that you need to cut off, like maybe your kid's nail ended up getting cut a bit and you need to trim that piece of nail off so they stop screaming, because we all know that hangnails hurt. That's why I keep nail clippers in my first aid kit, and then tweezers as well to get kind of debris out, or if I see a stinger, something like that I need to get out quickly. And that's it. So this is really what I keep in my house, ready to go, portable. My kids know where it is, which brings me to where you need to store it. Store it somewhere central in your house. That way, if something does go down, you can look at one of your kids and say, hey, go get the first aid kit. They're gonna know what you're talking about, and they're gonna be able to bring you everything without you having to tell them, I need gauze or I need a splint. Kids don't know what that stuff is unless you have really brilliant children. But my 5-year-old would have no idea what that is. But she would know, can you bring me the first aid box? So I keep ours actually in the bottom of my pantry. And that way she knows what it is, she knows where it is, and she can pick this up and she can carry it around to wherever I need her to go with it. So that is a quick and dirty look into how you could build out your home first aid kit. And like I said, I really like this box that I picked up from Aldi. Can you guys see it? Where are we? Because you can open it and everything is easily accessible. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, definitely let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And then also I'll drop the link to the blog post down below in case you want to grab any of the things that I kind of mentioned that you'll need to get from Amazon. You can get them straight from that post. Anyway, I hope you enjoy your Saturday, and I will catch you guys all later. See ya.